Mr. Beeman is fully committed to making Memphis a better place, and we look forward to hearing about some ways he can get involved with his work. Mr. Beeman, welcome to MUS.
Good morning, everybody. Is everybody good? All right, y'all, some interaction. My name is, like Paxton said, Liddell Beeman. I'm the founder and CEO of Heal the Hood Foundation of Memphis. And let me do a disclaimer, because everywhere we go, we have to do this disclaimer. Because when people hear the word hood, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Start thinking about gangs and start thinking about, what else you start, graffiti on the walls and people killing each other, start thinking, that's the first thing. So imagine being the CEO of an organization called Heal the Hood Foundation of Memphis and walking into a room with people that as soon as they hear the name, they're like, wait a minute, I don't know what to expect here. Well, hood is actually the suffix at the end of words like brotherhood, fatherhood, neighborhood, priesthood. Everybody has a hood. Everybody in the room has a hood. And what happens to neighborhoods and the reason why the communities are torn down is because there's something that has happened in one of those hoods that contributes to the degradation of the neighborhood. Be it that, you know, they're kids that grew up like me, that were in single parent homes. And I'm gonna let you guys know, before I even had a presidential award attached to my name, I'm just, you know, my mom's birthday is today. I'm excited about that. I'm excited to be able to celebrate her. But I was born to a single parent home. And just by show of hands, how many of you in here have both of your parents at the house? Both of your parents. Wow. It's amazing. So most rooms that I go to all over the city, and we're in auditoriums doing groups that are about 1,000 or more kids, when we ask them that same question, probably about 10% of the room raises their hand. In this room, about 95% were able to raise their hands. And so when we see a lot of what happens with a lot of our kids that are growing up in the inner city, they don't have the opportunities because they don't have both parents pouring into them. So they're broken inside of their childhood because it's interrupted by life and all the stuff happening. And all of a sudden, they grow up to be broken adults, and something is wrong with their adulthood because of what happened to them in their childhood. And so what happened for me and all this cool stuff that we're about to show you guys, and what led to this moment, was I grew up in the inner city, and both of those in the single parent home, grew up in what people call the proverbial hood, where there were gang banging, there was opportunities. By the time I was 14, I watched somebody get shot right in front of me by this lady. Pulled a gun out of a paper bag, shot this guy, and I said to my friend, because we weren't allowed to go off of our street, my grandmother never allowed us to go off the street. As a matter of fact, I tried to run away from home one day. You know how I ran away from home? I went to the backyard and jumped over the fence, and I was on the next street. I ran away from home, y'all. And so I knew how strong my grandmother was and what her voice was, because she was handicapped. And she raised 9 of her own children from a wheelchair, and she adopted 26 other kids. And so when I grew up, I never understood as a kid what racism looked like. I didn't understand any of that stuff. Why? Because a couple of my uncles were white. My auntie was Hispanic. As a matter of fact, I took about 6 years ago my first trip to Africa, not to Africa, but to Alaska. And when I went to Alaska, they said, well, we want Heal the Hood to come and do some work. So I was doing a pilgrimage there. That's what I call a pilgrimage. For 9 days, doing this pilgrimage with kids. And as a matter of fact, can I be transparent with you guys? Can I do that? Be transparent. I was the only black dude there. So I'm looking around and I was like, God, what are you going to do with me as the only black dude in the city, and everybody else, nobody looked like me. So I didn't understand that the very things that I went through in life would be something that I could use all over the world. I didn't know that. And so when I went there, 9 days later, the impact, I became a celebrity in Alaska in 9 days. Because every county I went to, drove over to whatever county, they already knew, you must be Liddell Beeman. I'm like, how do you know? I'm the only black dude in here. Thank y'all. And so we had a really, really fantastic time, building relationships. But I learned that in Alaska, those kids were broken too. And they didn't have gang issues, But what it was, their major issues that they were having was drug abuse, suicide, and incest that was happening in Alaska. And so it took a lot of time for us, in Memphis, for us to build what we have here. But in 9 days, we were actually able to see lives transformed. A little kid by the name of Z, at 10 years old, I took one of our comic books, and I'll show you how we got to this point. Took one of the comic books up there and showed them our whole superhero line, and they were just blown away because they were like, this stuff looks like Marvel and DC. And the weird part about it is telling stories about Memphis, Tennessee, and our comic books and our illustrations and everything that we were doing. It impacted them. And little Z, he was an Alaskan kid, and it was so crazy, but his mother and father were both strung out on drugs. And his father had been away from him for about 3 years. After we finished our explanation of who we are and then practicing the love of God inside of their lives and demonstrating all this powerful stuff, something happened that was unique. They said, well, we need you to go back and speak at the church after you come back from this camp. I said, okay. I went to the camp, went to the church after we did this camp experience. And I looked, and we're doing this thing called the altar call. How many of y'all go to church where they do like the altar call thing, and then all of a sudden the people come down and give their life to Christ? And y'all ever been in a situation like that? Got a few people to know that. And so people are giving their life to Christ. The doors open up in the back, and this guy, this Alaskan guy, short Alaskan guy, walks in, because I saw Lil Z in there, but then he walks in with a lady, and then lady was Lil Z's mother, who was strung out on drugs. The guy was the father that Lil Z hadn't seen in 3 years. They came to the center, they came to the church to see a black man from South Memphis that grew up in the inner city, and they wanted to give their life to Christ, and because of our works, their family was restored. If I was in church, they'd clap their hand right now. So the cool part about that is we want to show you our brief presentation of what we're doing here in Memphis. And what happened with us was when I had to figure out a way to be able to escape. And this is my team over here on the side. This is Miriam Graham right here. Y'all give it up for Miriam. She's our PR. And our illustrious project manager, Miss Natasha Hill, right here. So they've been here for a long time, over a decade. And so we'll tell you guys about some of the important works. And I'm going to go real fast, but it's going to seem like I'm going in slow motion, so y'all bear with me. All right, so what we've done throughout the course of time, Heal the Hood Foundation of Memphis is a not-for-profit organization that uses the arts and media science to enact change in Memphis and surrounding areas. So this is a little bit old, so really about 16 years ago now from this presentation, we've been able to reach over 480,000 kids with what we do throughout Memphis, Shelby County, Fayette County, Mississippi, Arkansas, and Alaska, being able to impact young people your age and giving them some opportunities and exposing them to things that they've never seen before. So a lot of things that we found out, I saw in the last session with Kirk Clayton and Al Capone, there was a question, and it's so weird because one of the things that saved my life was the arts. What got me out of that, here's a secret. It was the arts. It was being invested. And I'm going to ask you guys a question in just a minute, but it was about being invested in the arts that brought me out of the inner city. So I would go to Colonial, Creative and Performing Arts. I went to Overton High School, Creative and Performing Arts. And that's what changed my life because I was able to see something different. A gentleman told me, he said that once a person's mind has been expanded, it can no longer be reduced to its former state. And I'll say that again. Once a person's mind has been expanded, it can no longer be reduced to its former state. And what that literally means is that once you know better, you should do it. You should do better. You should do better. And so you guys are afforded some amazing opportunities here. And the thing that I love about the amazing opportunities that MUS is giving to you guys is expanding your minds. It's giving you the opportunities that a lot of inner city kids that grew up in inner city like me didn't have. And so if it wasn't for MUS, and let's just be honest about it, it would be a lot of kids, a lot of your peers that would be in a whole lot of trouble because their minds would only be conditioned to the environment that they're around. And so when you look at people and why they're leaving Memphis, a couple of things. Well, it says talent leaves Memphis. A lot of people that are leaving Memphis, they're leaving because of lack of opportunity in the city of Memphis for non-traditional jobs. There's another situation that happens. There's a lack of training for non-traditional jobs. Lack of motivation to compete on a global scale. Lack of diversity in workplace development. Crime and violence that is created from social and economic decline. I'm gonna ask y'all a question. Can we keep it 100 here? Can we just keep it 100 here? Does anybody, how many, just show of hands, does anybody know anyone in here who's ever vaped before? Somebody look like, I don't want to raise my hand because it's me, I'm guilty. I'm the one. Okay. Does anybody know anyone in here who has ever had an experience with any type of drugs? Yeah. Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. I know y'all looking around your instructions like, wait a minute. But here's the thing. What happens with us, and we have 2 kids in our after-school program. These ladies right here run the after-school program called Evolution School of Arts. We had 2 kids that are 12 and 13, the brother and sister. They ended up taking gummies and they OD'd, they overdosed. And they were able to recover, but they blacked out because they had the gummies. And a lot of times when you start thinking about a culture, how many of y'all have ever heard of this artist named Chris Brown? The whole room's heard about Chris Brown. How many of y'all think that Chris Brown is an amazing artist? Right? How y'all? What? You got artists, an amazing artist, performing artist. How many of y'all think that Chris Brown? Yeah, about, wow. He can sing. But one thing, what are some of the topics that Chris Brown discusses in his songs? Somebody say over here. Drugs, sex, money, what?
Oh, say sex.
Yeah, sex. So here we got some witnesses for the sex. Okay, so drugs, sex, and money. That's amazing. Because I was going over some of the lyrics, and it was one song that I was looking at where he was talking about Percocet. And I was like, wow. But we have some of the greatest artists that are on the top of the charts, especially when it relates to, and I'm gonna show you what happens. You have African American kids all the time that some of their favorite playlists and what they're exposed to all the time is artists that are talking about getting on top of a car, twerking at a headlight. And they get awards in the city of Memphis. I don't know how it happens. We have some of the top tier artists that are being awarded, and their favorite topics that they're talking about is drugs, sex, and money. And when you're a young kid coming up, you want money, you want appreciation, you want value, you want all these different things. And so if all you see in your environment and all you hear all the time, and we sit back and wonder why are these kids, this group of kids this way? Because they were not exposed to an MUS, where they didn't have the opportunities to be able to develop and expand their minds. All they heard over and over again was about drugs, sex, money. And now when you look at the climate in the city of Memphis, that's what you start seeing, the results of the seeds that we planted. And so what we decided to do, we decided to get ourselves together and respond to youth and think about what we needed. So what we did, we had listening sessions. We thought about through live presentations. We had one of the longest running tours in the city of Memphis, longest running positive tours in the city of Memphis. So for 20 years, we've been doing what's called the Wake Up Tours. And as a matter of fact, one of the students that graduated from here, Mr. Stefan Allman, he actually started with us. And then I'm gonna tell you how this whole situation works. How many of y'all saw Mr. PQ up here? Did y'all see me? Y'all know Mr. PQ up here? Mr. PQ was my band instructor in high school to save my life. It's kind of weird, huh? How all these things work. And so what I did is kept passing on what I was learning. And so when we're doing those different issues and we're presenting to all these different kids, we're letting them know some of the things that are important for us. We found out why it's important to invest inside of our youth. It's estimated that advertisers spend more than $12 billion a year to reach the youth market. And so that's how much, $12 billion a year. And they view, and the children view more, y'all young people view more than 40,000 commercials a year. And it might be more than that, because how many guys are on TikTok? How many guys have Instagram? How many of y'all watch all those reels? So if you're constantly consuming that, that is advertisement. And the industry spends $12 billion, an estimated $12 billion a year to program your thoughts for where you're gonna land in the future. So Memphis's population is at about, let me see, Memphis youth population, this is just for the young people, is at 106, this was about 2 years ago, it was 165,096 people, young people. And so that percentage, literally, we're a little bit higher as far as young people in Memphis than in Nashville. So what we decided to do, heard the young voices, got together. How many of y'all remember something called, I'm gonna test y'all age, how many of y'all remember something called Liberty Land in Memphis? Y'all don't remember Liberty? Get the hands up. How many of y'all remember Liberty Land? One of them. Yes, see, all the adults remember Liberty Land, but the kids, look at how many hands in the audience remember Liberty. I'm like, what is that? Memphis used to have its own amusement park. Room gets silent. It had a water park called Adventure River. How many of y'all remember Adventure River? Got some people remember? See? Had a water park, Adventure River. We had Al's Golf Haven, Celebration Station, Excite, all of these different things. And we did some research. Once Memphis started losing the investment in young people, real investments in young people occupying their time, because guess what? Young people need a whole lot more than drugs, sex, and money. So it's cool that young people now are getting money, but guess what? Because more young people are working than ever before, even when I was coming up, more young people are given all these opportunities, and something is still lacking. And that is because one thing that we found out even in our staff meeting that we had is about purpose. And so now this is a question I want to ask you guys before I show y'all this and sit down and shut up. This is what we're developing for you guys right now. It's called the Hero Empowerment Center. It stands on approximately 7.02 acres of land that was gifted to us to do something purposeful for young people like you. And all of this, it's cool because how many of y'all know who the X-Men are? Y'all seen the X-Men? So y'all into Marvel and DC? What we are is we're Memphis's version of that. And so we want to really be able to put what superheroism looks like in the city of Memphis. And so we pulled up a couple of pages from Marvel and DC, got with some architects, got with people like Jamie and Rusty Linkers, and we started thinking about and imagining what Memphis would be like if we took an investment, a real investment inside of young people and brought back the advantages that we had that produce heart and character. And that's called the Hero Empowerment Center. And I'll do this real quick, and I'll let you guys see. Y'all want to see this is what it looks like on the inside. These are a couple of pictures of what it looks like on the inside. Where am I on time, y'all? Y'all know how much more time I have? 10, 15 minutes? Okay, I'm sweating bullets. Okay, here we go. All right, so these are some of the things, the amenities that's inside the Hero Empowerment Center. And so when you see it, we're talking about 4D immersive theaters. We're literally bringing Universal Studios, pulling it up out of Florida. How many of y'all have been to Disneyland? How many of y'all have been to Disney? Whoa! So we're talking about snatching up what Universal Studios, what Walt Disney did for Florida, and planting it in the city of Memphis. How many of y'all would like that if you have to fly so far? How many of y'all would like something like that? If you're like, man, I can go right over here and not have to work. And so how would that change the dynamics of Memphis? When we were growing up and had Liberty Land, the workforce was impacted because guess what? At 14 years old, you could get a job at a theme park. Not only that, you could enjoy yourself. So you had now things that would distract you away from all the stuff that you see all the time that is influencing kids. Those three things talking about and money. And that's really why I'm glad you guys got a boys' school side where y'all be in trouble if just the girls. Okay, we'll talk. All right, so Now when you see the Hero Empowerment Center, it's a lot of these different things that you're going to be able to do inside of what we offer. But we're also putting a part of NASA inside of it, where you can just walk into this room and put on a suit and just start floating around. How many of y'all would like that? Y'all, you don't even have to take any guns and do it. You just walk in the room there, start floating around. And so what happens with that is literally what we're doing. We did a thing that was so powerful for me. I've always been into space exploration when I was coming up as a kid, had telescopes and all this different stuff. And a lot of things that I dreamed about and thought about, I never thought in my life that I would end up arriving at that point in life where I would see these things, work with so many different celebrities, be able to bring people to Memphis. We didn't just travel off and work with celebrities. I did it one time. I went to LA and I presented our comic book, which is the #1 issue is down here. Presented the comic book in a forum. Presented the comic book. This guy by the name of, and probably only 3 people in this room would know who this guy is. I went and presented the comic book to this guy, and he's a famous celebrity. And what ended up happening, he came to Memphis, Tennessee because he fell in love with the comic book. And this guy had already had one of the first African-American superhero movies it was called Meteor Man. And he also had another movie that a lot of, about 3 staff members in here might know. It was called The 5 Heartbeats. And so I sit down and say, you know what, back there singing, nights like this. Okay. All right, so we had The 5 Heartbeats. Robert Townsend, we connected to Robert Townsend. And that literally brought Robert Townsend to Memphis because of a comic book that a black man from the inner city, from a single parent home whose mind was expanded because of creative arts, it brought him to the city of Memphis. Not only that, he brought another gentleman with him to the city of Memphis because of the vision that we have for this comic book that all ties into this building. He brought another gentleman, and probably about 25 of y'all would know this guy. And so he bought this guy. He said, look, I need you to book us a plane. I don't need you to pay for any of our expenses other than just a plane ticket. Give us something to eat, and we're going to spend time in Memphis for 3 days. We don't want any media. We just want to travel around the city and see what Memphis has to offer and what we can invest in Memphis. Here's the cool thing about it. Do y'all know who this guy was? This guy, will give y'all a hint. 25 of y'all gonna know. Some of the staff members gonna know. This guy had a television show that was crazy. It was called In Living Color. Not only did he have a television, y'all don't know anything about In Living Color, but he had a television show called In Living Color. His brothers were in this movie that a lot of y'all know. The movie was called White Chicks. Everybody see it? Well, this is crazy. So the big brother who started it all, his name is Keenen Ivory Williams. And so here I am, a black kid from South Memphis, didn't have these opportunities, was presented to the arts expanded my mind, took a comic book to LA, and now I'm sitting at a table, and these are my 2 witnesses over here, because they were sitting over there eavesdropping on all the stuff they were saying. And they were telling us the secrets of things that we could bring to Memphis that would help young people if we gave you guys the opportunity. And what I want to say to you guys that we say over to every school we go to is that if there is an adult our age or older or younger, any adult that has done stuff that has been difficult in your life, said things to you that have been harsh, that have been anything less than examples for you guys, I apologize. Really sincerely apologize. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you guys are a product of what we plant in the city of Memphis. And so I apologize if there's been anything that an adult has done, said, or misled. I apologize. But on the other side, I applaud every adult in this room, y'all teachers and instructors that understand what it takes to accelerate you. Y'all give it up for y'all teachers, because I'm telling you, it is a job. So we got a lot of stuff that's going on. We've got a super gym, we got all this stuff. But what I will do, this guy right here, his name is Michael Jai White. And so we had a chance to actually do some stuff with a lot of different celebrities. Michael Jai White, he was the original Spunger. And so now you guys are starting to see where we're going with this Hero Empowerment Center, because all of these celebrities, this guy right here, in the top corner, his name is, does any teacher know who that is? Any instructor know who that is? Did y'all ever see the movie Breaking?
Yeah.
So that is Shabba-Doo. He just passed a few years ago. And Shabba-Doo, before there was, look up the movies Breaking 1 and Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo. Y'all gonna thank me for this. Y'all be like, what happened? Where have I been my whole life? We all see it, but those movies, literally, who would have thought that before breakdance was added to the Olympics? I was on the telephone with him, and we have a documentary, a docu-film called The Get Down. That's our movie that we did. We filmed all of this stuff with him, telling us all these secrets and what was about to happen before the Olympics ever even came out. And we were able to get all this insight, and we were going to do and we're still going to do it, an Olympic dance studio here in the city of Memphis. So we're going to be training, not only have all these immersive things going on, but we're also going to be training for 3 levels of Olympics inside of our center. And so we're also going to have stunt training that's going to be done by martial arts people that you guys know, like Michael John White. The celebrities are going to teach the classes, so it's going to be like X-Men, it's going to be like X-Men University. It's going to be like some of the greatest people that we know connected to what your superpowers are in the room and helping develop you to meet those different gifts and talents. How many of y'all would like it if a celebrity was teaching your class and Madonna was, not Madonna, but yeah, some Cardi B, no, not Cardi B, but some healthy adults teaching you guys classes about how to actually make it in the industry and give you guys the cliff notes. So that's the stuff that we're working on. I do want to set a couple times for some questions, but I want to show you guys this video, and I think that you guys will get the bigger picture of what we have. Is called the Hero Empowerment Center, and this is what it looks like.
I can remember looking into the sky, wondering if men could really fly. In our society, our children have been left with the impossible odds stacked against them. Until now, the Hero Empowerment Center will teach us how to believe again, how to dial into the childhood dream that anything is possible if we only believe. Over a year ago, we were gifted with 7.02 acres of land in the Hickory Hill community. A community that had been left barren and dry because of a tornado that had devastated the area in the year 2008. From then, we've been left to build ourselves up from the ashes. And from the ashes, we did rise. Looking now into the future, of what reality will look like in the lives of young people that have been devastated. As we now look up into our future heroes, we channel our gifts into imagining the impossible as we walk into the doors of a brand new Hero Empowerment Center. For the first time, we're revealing a game changer. Inside of this amazing opus, be prepared to see amazement as you've never seen before. From the moment that you walk into the door, holograms that will turn on your imagination and close the doors of the pressures of life, opening your heart to joy and happiness, not to mention creativeness. So, can I get you to take a virtual walk with me? Before you stroll with me, remember, I'm just an inner city boy that understands what an imagination and people with a generous heart can do for children. Oh, by the way, you're standing in the Genesis Theater. In this amazing dinner theater experience, you will be able to check out amazing state-of-the-art plays while at the same time experiencing fine dining from the Oracle's restaurant. Oh, by the way, this state-of-the-art facility has the best sound in entertainment, just like you're on a cruise ship, but you'll be able to experience conferences like you've never experienced before. Not only is there room for cutting-edge theater, but 40 immersive theaters as well in the Animatrix Theater. Various sights and sounds that we have adopted from Universal Studios and added other innovative technology gives us the ability to transport you into the movie and experience everything from the breath and breathing of people that are inside of the movie, dramatic heartbeats, and not only that, but your seats come to life inside of the adventure. Imagine being on an elevator shaft and falling, all without leaving your seat. The Super Gym is just that. It gives us a professional basketball field for college and professional level players, as this 25-seat sports complex comes outfitted with an indoor track that disappears under the bleachers and re-emerges on the second level. This cardio and fitness gym will amaze you as it gives you an experience of professional gyms inside of the Super Gym complex, featuring its very own cardio and weightlifting rooms that are second to none. Oh, and by the way, did I mention this amazing facility also converts to a skateplex? As we come to one of the most life-changing opportunities in the city of Memphis, there's so many different amazing sceneries, from kids being able to create their own comic books, action figures, and even dream of making a difference in a world that seems to be so dim and so bleak. Inside of our hearts, all of us, even inside of our deepest pains, are heroes waiting to be born out of ashes. Look into the night skies. Look into the deep recessions of your heart. And when you dream, anything is possible. When you awaken the hero on the inside of you, no longer are you condemned, no longer are you chained and bound by the past and the circumstances that are around you. Because you decided to do something about the problem, you reimagined yourself and you unleashed the hero inside of you.
All right, y'all, that's the Hero Empowerment Center right there, y'all. That is a $140 million investment for you guys, and all that came to life from the pages of these comic books. And so we do have some flyer cards too, where you can click on the QR code and be able to see this presentation, show it to all your friends on these. And we do have some comic books down here. Do you guys have any questions though? Any burning questions? You can ask anything other than where we get gummies from. Anything. I don't know where you get those from. All right, anybody got any questions? Any questions? Any thoughts? Scholars, I'll get any questions? Any thoughts? Yes, sir.
Will this be free for just kids around Memphis?
Sir?
Will this be free for kids around Memphis?
For a whole lot, you're gonna have I ain't bring it with me, but you guys actually get what's called a youth passport card. And so you scan the card and you get in and can take advantage of all the amenities inside the building. And so, it's a card to get in, and you get that card, and then you're good. Yes, sir. Well, it's an 18-month build-out, and so our hopes is to break ground this summer, and so making sure that there is no bad weather issues. You know, that has a whole lot to do with construction things. So, yeah. So, how many of y'all would like to come and visit? Y'all would like to come and visit? Remember, the whole thing, you can fly without gummies. Remember that. All right, so guys, if you don't have any other questions, we do have comic books down here, some of our movie projects down here, but this is a lot of what we're doing. So thank you guys, and this is my guy since he was about 8, 9 years old. Thank you, Stephen.
All right, gentlemen. We have to briefly move to the chapel for this jukebox performance, but you can slide up front and grab a card or a comic book, anything on your way out. We're going to go out this back door and go straight to the chapel.